Hello, you are listening to the Mets in the UK podcast, your home for all things Mets in the UK. You can catch the podcast on Spotify, YouTube, and all good podcast hosts. You can find us on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and X at Mets in the UK, or use the hashtag MITUK to get involved. Now, there's been a little bit that's gone on since our last pod, so we thought we'd jump back on and let's talk about it. So the whole gang's here this evening. Evening, Joe. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad, thank you. I'm back from 5 days in the sunshine, so I'm trying to feel refreshed. And I'd like the Mets to help and cheer me up.
More than Newcastle. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
We're joined as well by Tracey. Evening, Trace. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Yep, all good here. Well, as good as any Mets fan can be at the moment. And we're joined by the night owl herself, Tor. Evening, Tor. How are you?
Evening. Good. All things considering. Thank you.
Yes, all things considering. So we thought we'd talk about what's gone on. So I'm just going to roll through the comings and goings since our last pod with Andy. Quick plug whilst we're here. Why not? If you've not seen the plug with Andy, go and check it out. Boat Spice himself. Go and watch the episode. Check it out. It's well worth a watch. And if you like his art, consider that as well. He's a very good artist. Very, very good. Since we last did a pod, I've got a lot of notes. I am reading off the phone because a lot's happened. Signings and acquisitions. The Mets have signed Devin Williams, free agent, 3-year contract, $51 million. Right-hand pitcher, now going to be our closer from the look of things. The Mets have also signed Cooper Criswell, a right-hand pitcher off waivers from the Red Sox. And then most recently, the Mets have picked up George Polanco, a former Gold Glove winning infielder, signed as a free agent to a 2-year, $40 million contract. Can play first, can play second, has been a DH, but he is expected to be our primary first baseman going into 2026. Departure-wise, Jose Castillo are one of many bullpen arms from last year. He elected free agency and has now decided he's going to go and play in Japan. So best of luck to him over there. Pete Alonso declined his player option, became a free agent, signed a 5-year, $155 million deal with the Baltimore Orioles. Edwin Diaz declined his player option, became a free agent, and signed a 3-year, $69 million contract with the Dodgers. Tyler Rogers signed as a free agent with the Toronto Blue Jays. He picked up a 3-year, $37 million deal. That's the major league sort of side of things. The Rule 5 draft also happened since we've had our last pod. In the Rule 5 draft, the Mets have picked up right-hand pitcher Justin Armbruster. I think that's how you say it. Left-hand Matt Turner, left-hand pitcher Aaron Rozek. All of those are in the AAA phase. We lost 3 during the Rule 5 draft. So Dylan T-Break went to the Nationals.
Oh, I like one of those.
Yes.
He's a right-hand pitcher. Right-hand pitcher TJ Shook got picked up by the Rockies. And right-hand pitcher Trey McLaughlin got picked up by the Astros. All 3 of those also in the AAA phase. We've picked up a few minor league signings, mostly right-hand pitchers. So we've got Daniel Duarte, Carl Edwards Jr., Arnaldo Tejada, Isaac De La Cruz, all of which are right-hand pitchers. We've picked up a lefty in Christopher Hernandez and outfielder Christian Pache. I think that's how you say it, Pache.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. He's been picked up. He's got a minor league contract with a non-roster invite to spring training. So we might see him at spring training, but it doesn't mean he's going to be on the roster. He's just there for the vibes and to make up the numbers. So lots of comings and goings. Lots has happened. Mets fans rather upset at the moment, understandably. I think we've all got takes on this. So Trace, what are your thoughts on the last couple of weeks?
Well, Pete's gone for the money. And he's gone for the length of the deal. I will be surprised if he stays first base beyond maybe a year, maybe 2 at a push,
Okay.
before moving to the DH role, because I don't know if he's got the fitness possibly to keep it up for that period of time. I've seen reports from our friends at Bat Flips and Nerds who have said that they think his form's going to drop over the next year. But obviously, sad to see him go, particularly in the way that he's gone. And Edwin, can't really blame the guy. He wants a ring, and as tough as it is to admit, at the moment it seems more like the Dodgers are going to get it than the Mets. But we've still got plenty of off season to go. Who knows what can happen? We might get another Christmas present like we did last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's going to be as grand as the one we got last year.
Well, no, but girl can hope.
Yeah, we can hope. And as is tradition with this podcast, I dare say something will break or happen the second we press stop recording. You're welcome, Mets fans. But yeah. Joe, what do you think?
Well, Pete, as well as Newcastle, nearly ruined my holiday because that breaking news was horrible. I wasn't quite expecting and ready for it, and I felt a bit emotional actually to see Pete go. I know. But then I was looking back, we mentioned it on the chat, 11th of November, when we were asked the question about what we all thought about Pete and Diaz, and we were all cautiously unoptimistic if we look back. And unfortunately, that premonition, we're the Mystic Mets, aren't we, Tracy? That came to pass. So I was gutted about Pete. Shame with Tracy and Diaz thing. I was sad, but not as sad as Pete. And then, in terms of replacements, and Devin Williams, he was Brewers right before he was Yankees, wasn't he? So
yes.
I hope we get that version of him because he was pretty solid then, wasn't he?
Yeah, the Yankees broke him.
So we need to put him back together. So and then as an overall thing, I just need to convince myself, and I think we all probably do, that there's a plan.
Yeah, we just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, maybe hopefully there's a plan, and it'll all fall into place, and we'll see that. Maybe we didn't win things. Well, we didn't win things before, so maybe this is the shake-up we needed. I'm trying to stay positive, but it's very difficult.
Yeah, I think I'm going to use that as a segue into like what I've said to a couple of you in the chat and stuff. Like when we had our end of season debrief in our pod and stuff, one of the things I said was it would be madness to keep doing the same thing again and expecting different results. And I said, like, I think change is coming. I think we need change. Something needs to happen. I'll be honest, I didn't see any of this coming. I fully expected the likes of Barnes and Chavez to go like they did. Obviously, the Hefner thing was a bit of a surprise. I didn't really see that one coming, but I knew there was going to be changes, but I figured it would just be like a few coaches, maybe try a different sort of tactic behind the scenes. Maybe 1 or 2 players might have gone, but I think this is the reason why this hurts so much. Other than the fact that we've lost 3 fan favorites in Nimmo, Diaz, and Pete, like it hurts as much as it does because none of us really saw it coming. Like we all have been crying out for the change, but we just this deep, like
ruthless, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is ruthless. But then, like many people have said, we've not won anything with these guys. Like Diaz has been here since 2019. Pete's been here for like a number of years. Nimmo's been here for even longer than that. And these guys haven't performed as Mets. And ultimately, this is where the business side of the game kicks in, where if you're not performing, you're out the door. And I think there's other teams that are far more ruthless and harsh. Like it's not like the Mets are the first team to do this. This has happened countless times before. But I think like what you guys have said, like it sucks because they're fan favorites.
Yeah.
But yeah. And like Joe said, we kind of have to trust there's a plan. I don't think David Stearns is just throwing darts at a wall and hoping that one of them lands on the right player. I don't think that that's what's happening. There is clearly a game plan here. We just can't figure out what it is. And maybe that's part of the plan. Maybe the Mets were too predictable.
And probably long-term, it's a long-term plan as well. Not just
exactly.
next season.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't as well help but wonder whether some of this has to do with next year's trade bargaining agreement. Are the Mets trying to shift some money now because they know big changes are coming next off season? I don't know. I'd be speculating like everyone else at this point, but yeah, I think I'll echo what you guys have said. Like, it's disappointing. I hope we get a good Williams rather than, you know, what we saw bits of last year. I think Polanco is an interesting one. You know, how much he's going to do first base, how much he's going to do DH. He's not going to hit in the same way that Pete hit, but I think he's a solid player. I think he's a decent pickup. And the fact that it's only a 2-year deal, maybe something else is in the pipeline there, whether it's a prospect or another deal. Who knows? I think as for everything else, like the minor leagues, it's just depth and more depth, as is always the case this time of year. Nothing too glamorous there, really. Tor, what do you think?
Yeah. So yeah, as a couple of you have already said, and I've got to stick with it. I've said all along, and from when Brandon went and broke our hearts, but doing typical Brandon things and allowing himself to be traded, bless him. We have to trust in the plan. I trust Stearns. I trust that things aren't going to happen overnight, and I've got to stick with that. And no matter how hard it seems at the moment, we're right. We have not been winning. We've been close. The fact that we've been close makes the depth of the change, as you mentioned, the biggest surprise. Although some of it was out of our control, with Pete and Edwin both being free agents, right? So it's not like we technically allowed them to go, right? They chose to go. Now, Edwin, I said this to you guys at the time. I'm actually okay with it. It kind of makes me a little bit sick because Dodgers, but like, you can't blame the guy. In my mind, the Dodgers could have probably offered him 10 million less, right? He wasn't interested in negotiating with the Mets the second he got an offer from the Dodgers, right? So, and you can't blame him for wanting to take the opportunity to go and play for them. So on you go, Edwin. I wish you well. It's going to hurt like hell hearing the trumpets playing there, because he's already said that he is keeping that. It's not going to be the same not seeing the trumpets at Citi Field. But that's fair. He never made any fuss, never, portrayed any kind of loyalty to the Mets. I mean, he was obviously excellent for us, but he wasn't gushing about, I want to stay, Unlike Pete. This one hurts in that we were told from both sides that they wanted it to happen, right? The Mets told us they would love to keep Pete. Pete told us he wanted to be a Met for life. Clearly, one or both of them did not want that as much as they had us believe, because if they did, a deal would have been done. One or both of them would have compromised, and a deal would have happened if both parties wanted it as much as they had us believe. That's why this one cuts deeper, because if Pete had gone to the Dodgers, if he'd made an offer from the Dodgers, I'd have said exactly the same as Edwin. Yeah, don't blame you. And no disrespect to the Orioles, but come on. I mean, and Tracey, I know you've got a real soft spot for the Orioles. I like the Orioles. I like to watch them. I think they've got a lovely, young, fun team. I think it's a great place. But I mean, what is he going there for?
Doesn't he like that ballpark? Isn't he quite? Did he get a few home runs? Oh, exactly.
It's a beautiful ballpark.
In terms of, he's hit a few dingers there already.
But he's gone for the years and for the money. Now, the years we've talked about countless times, and we've said, as you said, just Tracey, we've said, a year or two at first base, give him as many years as he wants, because he does a year or two at first base whilst we either cultivate a replacement or identify and recruit a replacement, and then we stick into DH. Because since we had JD Martinez, we've not really had a solid DH either. I know Swaggy was there a little bit last year, and Wink can come in and do a job if we re-sign Winker. So he would have been that would have been perfect. So it has to be over the money. If he, if it's because he wants to be guaranteed to be around the game for longer, fine. But and it could be that it's the Mets that wouldn't compromise. Fine. I can't blame him if that's the case, because we've not been winning. My concern remains, we're not going to get a closer like Diaz, but if we have strong enough offense, then it's not going to matter as much, right? Losing Pete is much more difficult to replace at this point. Polanco is not a replacement. I mean, we're not going to get the same production from him. I think defensively, he's probably a bit of an upgrade. But we're not going to get run production from him like we had from Pete. So we're losing. We need to be able to stack the rest of the lineup with consistent hitters, because we relied so much on Pete and Soto, and to a lesser extent Lindor last year. And we need to have bats from 1 to 9, because we're going to have to try and make up for that loss of runs. As for the other signings, I mean, Christian Pache, okay, let's see how. I mean, he might surprise us. He might. I mentioned Polanco. Again, it can only be a short-term thing, as far as I can see, unless they've seen something. Again, they see all the stats. They have the scouts out there, right? They will have done a lot of research. So, who are we to judge? Let's see what he can bring. But I can't. Yeah, maybe we'll pull out some crazy move. I'm not seeing it right now. And like you said, Tom, I don't think it's going to be this year. I think this year is going to be a kind of a make, do, amend for now. Get through as best as we can. Give the youngsters an opportunity. You've got to remember, right? 5 years ago, we were screaming about the state of our farm. Now we have a good farm. This is what we've built the farm for. Right? This is why we did this. And this is why we've been happy about having the investment in our youngsters and keeping our young talent, because now we can bring some of these guys through. There's going to be space for them to come through. Criswell, he's not played much. He's not been great when he has played. Let's see what the pitching lab can do with him. And Williams, he's a good pitcher, right? It's quite ironic because, as many of you know, one of my best friends is a Yankees fan, and I basically spent the whole of last season ripping into him repeatedly about Williams. But I maintain that the Yankees broke him, and there is a good pitcher in there. Would I have preferred him to be a setup guy for Diaz? 100%. Am I concerned about him being our closer? No.
Yeah, that's fair. I think you touched on a good point with the youth there. I think that's the strategy that they're probably going to go with. It's Clifford is the first baseman. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a lot more. Certainly in spring training, he's going to get a lot of reps. Stearns mentioned Carson Benj as well. I know he's an outfielder, but he's another one.
Yeah,
we've got the so-called baby Mets as well, where in the infield alone you've got Mauricio, Vientos, Beatty, Acuna. It's make or break for these guys. I'm going to get onto it in a minute, but Vientos is arbitration eligible at the end of next season. For these guys, for them, they need to start because there's a whole bunch of people behind them. You know, people often rave on about Jet the Met in
Williams. Yeah.
Williams.
Williams.
You know, we've, like you said, we've got all these stacked players, and they're not just in the pitching side of things either. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a lot more of this next year. I don't think it's cost cutting. I think it's just a realization of like you just said, we've got a good farm. Like, let's start throwing these guys in, because clearly the strategy since Cohen took over has been like, well, let's buy established players and throw big contracts at them, and that's not worked. So it's like, well, let's pivot and try something else, because that's not working whatsoever.
Having said that, though, let's be clear. We know if a superstar deal comes along and becomes available, they'll be straight in there. We know that will happen, even though we've got the youngsters there to fill it. It's almost like we've got nothing to lose at this point. But we have more gaps to fill now than we did. So I'm talking about one superstar signing, not 3 or 4 to fill the 3 or 4 gaps that we've got, right? Yeah,
absolutely. I'm going to use that filling the gaps as a segue into the question that we got given, because it kind of ties in nicely with that. So we asked for questions, as we always do. Cobra47 said, 3 realistic starting pitchers who we could or should be targeting in free agency. Now, Tracey's sent us the list, which I will tag on to the pod notes. I mean, I'm going through it, and Framber Valdez, Ranger Suarez, Michael King, they've all got qualifying offers attached to them. Zach Gallen has. So, like, I can't see the Mets going for that, because they're not going to want to give up the penalties that come with the qualifying offer thing. So, like, we can rule them out. The next set of names in the list, you've got 35-year-old Nick Martinez, 37-year-old Chris Bassett. You know,
but do you
Patrick
sign them for a
Corbin's
short
36,
deal?
Eric Feddy's 33. Like,
could get Quintana back, couldn't we?
Yeah, he's 37. Like,
tried and tested.
That's the thing.
You've got people there like Miles Mikolas, like, solid pitcher, but he's 37. Like, I'm not particularly looking at these thinking like, oh God, we really need to be going all out for these guys, because there's like a generation of good pitchers that are phasing out, and they're all the free agents. And I'm sorry, to answer the question, like, I'd much rather go with McLean, Tong, Scott, you know, all of our young pitchers, and see what they've got, than, oh great, here's a 2-year contract for Patrick Corbin, like, to be our, like, oh look, now he's injured because he's old. Like,
his arm's fallen off.
But it is that, isn't it? Like, we tried that with Scherzer and Verlander, and it backfired spectacularly.
God, that was horrendous.
Yes.
It's just like, don't remind us.
The alleged divaisms that came with that as well.
Oh, that was just such a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, there is that side of things where you look at the current crop of what's left, and you kind of just go, meh, I'd rather try the farm. But then Will Salmon reported it as well, where the 2026 class is actually looking pretty good. You've got Tarek Skubal, Sale, Kevin Gosman, Freddie Peralta, Sandy Alcantara, Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, Jesus Lozado. Like, there's a good crop next year. So I'm wondering whether, you know, like we're seeing with the first base situation and our outfield, are the Mets just going to go and, like, just say, well, all right, you've got a year, prospects, show us what you've got. And if you can't show us what you've got, these guys are free agents next year. We're just going to go after them. What do we think? Like, is that a better strategy?
We've got a great strategy. Let's go Paul Blackburn, Max Scherzer, and Strove from the list. Just relive that hell.
Imagine Stroman back in Queens.
No.
Blackburn's 32. I looked at that, I was like, no way. The guy looks like 47.
Hey, I wouldn't mind Blackburn. I wouldn't mind Blackburn back, but not as
worse options.
He's got no spine. Come on, Mike.
I'd want him in the pen.
Look at all the ones we've helped destroy on this list.
Hey, you know who no one's mentioned? Tom, I noticed you skipped him completely.
Frankie Montas.
Griffin Cunning. Bring him back. Let's go.
Yeah, I like Griffin.
Yeah, exactly. Poor guy.
No.
Like half a chance. Did well with his half a chance and then got injured.
No.
Like,
That's the problem there.
why are we?
I'm not having that.
Why not? Why not?
I'd
You have
rather
to admit.
give-
You have to admit what he did last year and that presence as well, alongside the youngsters. Don't get me wrong.
He's not having it at all. Look
He
at
should.
him.
He
I'm not.
admitted that he admitted that he did well when he played.
He
last
did.
year.
He
He
did
was
do
leading
well,
the charge at the start of the season, wasn't he?
but I've seen enough of Griffin Canning to know that I'd rather give that place to a Christian Scott or one of our prospects.
Use them
and
or
see
lose
what they've
them,
got.
some of these prospects. If you don't use them, we're going to lose them.
Well, not
Yeah.
only that, Joe, but like it makes it a harder sell to prospects to come and join the Mets. Like, oh, come and join our amazing farm
Sit
system
here
where we're
for
going
10
to
years
back
and do
you for
nothing.
5 years and you won't play a game in the majors. Like, who's going to want that?
It's going to have to happen.
I honestly, I know you're saying that we'd steer clear of those with qualifying offers. I think if we feel that there's going to be someone who can really, really give us solidarity, and there is a few on there. I mean, I'm a Zach Gallen fan. I wouldn't mind seeing him. There's still noise around Michael King, with or without the qualifying offer. I'm not entirely sure where all that noise is coming from, but noise nonetheless. But I wouldn't mind seeing us go after one of those just to give us that bit of experience. So if you look at, Suarez, King, Gallen, they're good ages, good experience, solid, probably worth the effort there. One of them, you're not going to go and get all of them. One of them. Bring back Griffin. Of course, a few weeks ago we would have all said go after Dylan Cease, but he's off to Toronto. So yeah, I mean, that aside, I'm kind of with you, Tom. I want to see the youngsters given a chance. They showed that they certainly have the potential at the back end of last year. They gave us some electric moments. So I don't see any reason why they can't have a shot at being that solid regular starting rotation.
We had that before, didn't we? When we had the youngsters coming through before,
Yeah.
like a whole loads of them. It's kind of the same thing cycled around again. So
Exactly.
and look how some of them have done.
You know about Generation K?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about taking a punt on someone like Ime? From he is a Japanese player, I believe, and he's been posted by his team, so he is available. He's 29. No, you're not keen.
I'm not
Fine.
keen because we've seen the issues that Senga has had coming over and adapting to not pitching every 6 days or 6 games. I think I'd be very, very wary, especially if he's 29. Yamamoto really, really struggled at the start of last. I know he came good at the end of last season, but like he really struggled at the start. And do we really want that? Like another one where potentially there's issues? I don't know. Like it would have to take someone of like Yamamoto prospect, like where they're young and look like they're going to be amazing, rather than just, oh, cool, there's this guy from Japan who's thrown a few good outings. Like, I feel like we can do better.
Or what about bringing back Max Tranick?
I'm not against that.
I
We've got a concession there from Tom.
Wow, well done.
I like Max.
And just tagging on something that you said earlier, Tom, about Vientos being eligible. He's preparing for that. He's apparently going with Mr. Boras as his agents.
Yeah, I mean, is he even going to be here for arbitration?
Yeah.
If you're engaging Boras now, you've got to ask the question, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'll use that to just whiz through the rest of the news because there's not really much else to mention. Yeah, Vientos has hired Boras. He is arbitration eligible for the first time after next season. I think my immediate reaction when I saw the tweet earlier was like, really? Like, he's not a Boras caliber. I know Boras doesn't have all the superstars, like he has lesser players, but like, I'm sorry, Mark, but you're not like a typical
Get in your box,
Boras
Mark.
kind
Come
of
on.
big contract kind of guy. I don't know. I
He
don't
could
like.
be positive that he's going to have an absolute storm of a year.
Sure. Yeah, I'll believe it when I
Sorry.
see it. That's yeah.
Hey, Swaggy V's got swag. He's capable.
Sometimes he does, yes.
There is
It
such a
depends
thing
which
as
day of the week it
overconfidence,
is.
though, Tor.
I wouldn't know about
Elsewhere, Juan Soto's confirmed he knew about Pete's departure before it was announced.
Could have
He's in
told us,
regular
didn't he?
talks
Yeah,
with
where was
the
that
team.
exclusive?
Yeah. Terry Collins has chipped in on the outgoings. This core has not won. Maybe it's time to go with a different core. I'm going to agree with TC on that one. Like, he knows his stuff. He can do no wrong in my eyes. David Stearns, much the villain of Mets Twitter at the moment. There's been a lot of discussion about whether he's going to go, but someone's actually pointed out he's under contract until the end of the 2028 season. So whatever this rebuild looks like Joe was saying earlier, he is going to be the one rebuilding this team, whether we like it or not. I don't think Steve's going to get rid of him.
Blossom 2028, this team, won't it?
I think he's got the reins until then. Definitely, I can't see, given how long Steve waited to bring him in, I just can't see him ditching him just because Mets fans don't like some of the outgoings. And then the last piece of news was, speaking of Cohen, Steve Cohen and Hard Rock officially have received their casino license. Construction is set to begin within the next month. Target date for completion is June 2030 on that. Kind of similar with the Stern stuff. There's been a lot of talk on Mets Twitter around, Steve's given up on the team and that's it now. He's going to focus all on the casino. He's not bothered about the Mets anymore. I certainly don't buy into that whatsoever.
Supplementary.
Yeah.
Is the casino going to be near the ballpark?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they can
Part of that
spend
thing.
shitloads in the ballpark and then lose it all in the casino.
Yeah. Well, I know where I'm going to be drinking post game.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be part of the
we
same
like
complex.
a good casino drink. I'm not so much for the whole gambling thing in the casino, but it's a nice place to go and have a drink and people watch. It's fun. Ask Anthony.
People.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah,
So-
no, don't ask Anthony.
No.
Thoughts on the other news, Joe? Anything else you want to add?
Not so much on that, but I did have a quick thought about Senga. He might be
Yeah.
glad Pete's gone because he won't have to deal with any of his dodgy throws this season. So maybe that's a
Ouch.
positive.
That was brutal.
That's what I have to say.
Okay, fair enough. Trace, any thoughts?
Steve hasn't given up on the Mets. He wouldn't spend as much as he has on the Mets. He's a smart guy. I'm sure he can have teams managing the soccer stadium, the casino, the Mets. He hires people that do that for him. He's not going to lose interest.
Yeah, absolutely. It's another way of a billionaire making even more money and
Yeah.
leaving a legacy behind as
Toria.
well. Like, look at what I've done to the area. It's a lot of change to the area, and I think he can sort of look back on it and say that's what he did. I think it's very much that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think for 1 second he's done with the Mets. Tor, any other thoughts?
I have 3 things.
Okay.
Oh, God.
1, Steve is a fan and living every fan's dream. Why is he going to give that up? For as long as he can afford to do it, the money will run out at some point, and it is a business. Let's not fool ourselves. But for as long as he can financially tolerate it, he's going to keep living every fan's dream. So I don't think we need to worry about that. 2, I guarantee 9 times out of 10, David Stearns is the smartest person in any room that he walks into. So I'm going to trust that guy. That's it. 3, I will be supporting whoever is wearing these colours come March the 26th. Whoever they may be, they will have. I'm not going to get into the whole, there could be the odd. Tracey knows what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But at least for the time that they are on that field, I will be behind every single player that is wearing my Mets colours. They may be different players than we thought they were going to be. They may be not the superstars that some people hope for them to be, but it's going to be our team. And we're going to be supporting them regardless. So
100 days till opening day today.
Is that all it is?
Mark your calendars, yeah.
my calendar's marked.
Yeah.
My flight is
People have countdowns to Christmas.
Yeah, my flight is already booked. So I'm going. Even if we have half a team, I will be there.
Cheering on Max Scherzer on opening day. Come on.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
Yeah. Mm.
And on
That's
that
it.
note, I think that's it. Yeah. As always, thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, drop a comment on any of our takes. Let us know your thoughts down below. We always enjoy reading those. Normally, I'd say, oh, we'll be back same time, same place next week, but who knows what's going to happen between now and then. So the podcast will be a bit ad hoc whilst stuff does or doesn't happen. I'm going to jinx it. Nothing's going to happen now because we're coming up to Christmas. There we go.
Yeah.
I've said it. I'm
It's going to be really boring.
And something big's going to happen.
It's going to be really boring.
Yeah.
You're welcome. But yeah, we will be back at some point. Keep an eye on the socials. We'll let you know when we're back. Thank you to Joe, Tracey, and Tor for joining this evening. And as always, all that leaves us to say is let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.